Let's do that again. Good evening, villagers. It's so nice to see you. Thanks for being here. I'm Christiana Gaudet. I am your Tarot Fairy Godmother. Welcome to a free live stream tarot class. If you're watching the replay, thanks for being here. Drop a comment. So it's Valentine's week or week after. And this time, like every February, somewhere, somehow, I like to do a workshop around the topic of reading about love and relationships in tarot. And I like to do this primarily because everybody thinks about tarot as being the thing of the lovelorn. Like that is the joke, right? That all day, every day, me and every other tarot reader, what are we doing? We're advising people on their love life. Now, how true is that? Those of you who read for others, come to the front of the class and let me know, how true is that? In my opinion and in my experience, it's not as true as you would think it would be. It does happen, certainly. And in every reading, we talk about relationships, but relationships aren't just romance. We all have relationships. And so every tarot reading is going to be about your relationship with your boss, your coworkers, your kids, your parents, your love life, your friends, your siblings, all of it. And it's also your relationship with things and ideas, your relationship with money, your relationship with sleep, your relationship with food. Everything is a relationship. And so when people think that tarot is just used for romance, they're dead wrong. Yes, Nick, with yourself too. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. And so when people think that that readings and tarot is just for relationships, in a way, they're very wrong, because it's not just about love relationships at all. But in a way, they're very right, because it's about relationships with everything. Today, though, I would like to talk predominantly about how we talk about love relationships in the cards, because even though I will say, no, that's not everything we talk about, we do talk about it a lot. And so let's learn to talk about it well, and let's learn how those skills, that when you have skills to talk about relationships and read about relationships, you have skills to talk about anything. Because, as we've just said, it is always about a relationship. It can be your relationship with your body, your relationship with your health. Everything's a relationship. But let's specifically now turn our attention to love and romance and specific cards. So I've got 3 piles of cards here, and this was just as I was getting ready for class today. I just went through my cards and I came up with 3 piles that I wanted to talk about really quickly. All right, the first pile. These are cards that are very often associated with love, specifically romantic love and predictions about romantic love. I'm going to go through and share my thoughts about each of them. Okay, Mick, you say Knight of Cups, and Knight of Cups is in this pile, but tell me, what do you think, since you mentioned it, what do you think about the Knight of Cups specifically for romance? Oh, now, okay, you don't have to. All right, so I started with the 10 of Pentacles. Now, obviously, if this is what you're marrying into a wealthy family. If this is the family you have, it could be a beautiful home, a lot of money, multi-generations and some dogs. But this is also the card of real estate. It's also the card of communicating with your ancestors. It's also the card of legacy, progeny, generational trauma, what we inherit. And so what you see I'm going to be teaching here is that, yes, this can be a card that's romantic, but it can be so much else. And any other card that you don't think of as romantic can be used to describe a relationship, and we're going to play with all of that. Oh, Mixuer, you're not talking over me. You're good. I'm interested in what you have to say because we are a village and your wisdom is good here too. And so for you, Mixuer, the Knight of Cups is the dream lover. I've got like that Mariah Carey song in my head. Very good. Oh, Sarah, you're so kind. Love your top, looking like a love goddess. I must say that like I got into my 60s and all of a sudden I think I'm turning into Mrs. Roper. Because all of a sudden I'm like, let me have some flowing things. I'm probably like 5 minutes away from wearing caftans for the rest of my life. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for noticing. Yes. All right. Hey, Tarot with Caro, good to see you. This is Caroline Ironwill. Make sure you follow her on her channel. She gave a great presentation at StaarCon. It's so great to have her here today. Okay, let's move on. Four of Wands. This is the traditional card of marriage. It can talk about a proposal. It can talk about your marriage. But it's also a card of a happy home in general, a supportive community, and community celebration. This one. You know, the funny thing about this card is it's really not that romantic no matter how you slice it. It does archetypally talk about the syzygy, which is the divine couple. But, oh my gosh, Claire, you're going to a Mrs. Roper pub. Fabulous, fabulous. I would so like to go with you. That's going to be so much fun. And I do have quite a collection of caftans, I'll just say. And I don't think I really need a wig. I think I could just put this up and curl it some and I'd be in, I think. All right. Anyway. I own them, but my husband laughs at me when I wear them, so. All right. The Lovers. Archetypally, the divine couple, the syzygy. Once in a while, when it comes up in a reading, I will see it as a positive thing for a romance. But very often I see it as like, what do you choose? What do you choose? Because there's a differentiation here. And in this image, there is a choosing. He's looking at her. She's looking at the angel. Already we have issues. And this is related to Gemini, the element of air. So we've got communication, decision-making. And so this can talk about the nuts and bolts of a relationship, but it can talk about the nuts and bolts of your relationship with anything at all. So let me ask you, in your practice, how romantic is this card for you? Obviously, your mileage may vary from mine. Jen, you want to do a Mrs. Roper pub crawl, and you're right there in West Palm. We should make this happen locally. That would be too fun. Okay, the Ten of Cups. There is such division in this community, not this village, but the larger tarot community about this card. Happily ever after, too good to be true, a happy family. What do you think about this one? Like, I generally see it as positive. I see it as a happy family and a happy household, generally speaking. There's that Knight of Cups. For me, I see this as the suitor. Like pursuing love. Go ahead and ask the person out. This person really is interested. I see a pursuit of love. The question, though, is, are we really pursuing the relationship? Or are we pursuing the ideal? This is a tough one. When I was a much younger, much less experienced reader, this card came up multiple times for someone. Some people do, Michelle, some people do view the Ten of Cups negatively because it's like too good to be true. I am not one of those people, but some people do. Adela, Lovers isn't romantic for me usually, like it's such a watered down version from the meaning and archetype, sure. Nick, oh my gosh, are you saying syzygy? Yes, I am. That's the name of an amazing X-Files episode. Two girls whose stars align in a way that's explosively dramatic, and the whole episode is so 90s. Yeah, syzygy is the archetype of the divine couple. So Adam and Eve, Anthony and Cleopatra, Bonnie and Clyde, right? These divine partnerships, if you will. That's a syzygy. All right, so I have a really bad story with the Two of Cups. I was reading for someone, she was in a new relationship that was going really, really, really well. But it was only a short period of time, and this card kept coming up, and I really believed, this is a good sign, this is a good sign, and it went bad quick. And I learned, along with my client, that this card is not, it is the card of perfect love and perfect partnership, but here's the thing, and this is one of the most important things you will learn here in this workshop. When we're talking about love, the future of a relationship is very, very often unpredictable, even when great cards come up. And so we can see here love, and we can see the healing power of love. But there's no future prediction here. There is love, there is partnership, there can be friendship, it can be any kind of a love connection, really. And it can be one that brings healing. But there's no sense that this will predict a future, and I learned that the really hard way. Tarot with Caro knows that X-Files episode and shares some other great divine partnerships, including Han Solo and Chewie. I love that. That's perfect. Perfect. All right. Ace of Cups. Now, on one hand, I see this as a very, very spiritual card. It is the womb of Mary Magdalene. It is literally the Holy Grail. It is that divine energy of unconditional love that is the proof positive that something exists beyond what we can see. And that's in this card. But it's also the card of a new love, or a deepening love, or a card that recognizes the presence of love. And so for me, this is a very spiritual card, but it is also a very romantic card. Okay, so those are some cards that I've identified as we think about these as romantic cards. Sarah F., Lovers is a very romantic card to me, especially since my deck is a woman and man intertwined together pictured on it. Well, and that's something that happened. And it really happened starting in like the 1990s on up, where maybe not even 1980s, where modern tarot designers started creating like very passionate, very romantic, very erotic cards for the lovers, which, obviously is very different from that. And I think it's true, like the art that you're used to is going to, or the art that you're using in the moment, perhaps, is going to inform your reading. That's true. Okay, so now let's talk about like this group of interesting cards. Like, I just find them interesting in this conversation. One is the Star. Now, the Star can be hope and healing and abundance, having what you need, getting what you want. Syzygy of Christiana and her caftans. Yeah, there you go. So, the Star is this like fabulous card of healing and hope and fulfillment. It is, for me, a card of good sex. And so, like, if this comes up in a certain way, and I know a person has been on a first date, I'll know they got laid on the first date. I'll know it. This can also describe the quality of the encounter as positive. However, the star can also describe a particular behavior, and it's usually a cisgender female behavior, of being kind of a diva, like too much of a diva. So it would like really depend on context. If I'm reading for someone who just had a date with a cisgender woman, did you get laid? Maybe yes. Was it good? Maybe yes. But is she maybe too much of a diva for you? You know, it'll depend on the context. Justice. We don't necessarily... Nick, there you go. That's good. We don't necessarily see justice as a romantic card, but it comes up all the time in relationships. Marriage is a legal contract. Divorce happens in a court of law. And in any relationship, there has to be a sense of balance. There has to be a sense of fairness, or it looks like that. Now, there was a question earlier from Betty Flesher about the 10 of Cups reversed. I'm sorry, Betty, I missed it when it first came up, but I definitely clocked it. Could the 10 of Cups reverse be too good to be true? It sure could be. Absolutely, yes. Yes. And, you know, however you play with reversals, that's going to come in here for sure. For sure. And Mixuir says about the 2 of Cups, promise but no big guarantee. Yeah, I love that. I love that. That's really smart. Okay, Empress. Such an interesting one because the Empress can be very nurturing and very loving. But say I'm a cisgender heterosexual woman, younger, dating a man. What's this going to say? Is this going to say, be careful, you might get pregnant before you want to? Sure. Is this going to say, you're going to marry this guy and have babies with him? Sure. Or is it going to say, this guy needs a mommy, be careful, run now? Any of those things could be possible from my perspective. And so again, it's all going to be about context that's going to decide that. Okay. You probably don't think about the 2 of Wands as a romantic card, but in the right context, for me, this can be as hopeful as it gets. Because if we're reading about a relationship, whether it's a new relationship or a long-standing one, if we're reading about a new relationship, I can see the 2 of Wands as a shared vision. And what is better than a shared vision, you know? So this to me can be a very positive card for a relationship. Hey, Caroline, good to see you. So 6 of Cups is really interesting. There are many people who will see this card as like a soulmate card. And y'all know I don't love the word soulmate. I don't love the word twin flame. But people can see this card as a past life connection, a sense that we are meant to be together. Now, I don't love those concepts, but I do know that sometimes in the case of a great relationship and sometimes in the case of a horrible relationship, but you feel that pull and you feel that connection, this card can come up to say, you know, it could be a past life connection. Yeah, make sure I'm the same way, for sure. So if you are a person who believes in soulmates, right, Nick, right, it's come up for you. The only 2 times I've read on Future Romance. And so we could at least say it's something that feels meant to be. But who you are and what you believe. Oh, Jolie James, could it also be a relationship coming back around? Yeah, it could be someone from the past coming back in, for good or for bad. Yes. Yes, it absolutely could be. Or a situation that reminds you of your past. So, you know, this is an interesting card because it can speak to relationships in a lot of different ways. Yes, definitely. And it could also be like these days, because of the internet, there's a lot of older people getting together with people they knew in high school. Not even necessarily people they dated in high school, although sometimes that too, but just people they knew. So someone from your past, whether it's a past life, a past relationship, or just someone you used to know. There's also something with this card about someone that you can be authentic with, because there is something about the Six of Cups that can be like remembering who you are. So we've got that too. Oh, Della, like that one song. What song? You mentioned a song. What song? Okay, here's an interesting one. The Hierophant can literally be a card of marriage, literally. It's the card of tradition. Marriage is a tradition. Who do you go see to get married? The priest. But the Hierophant, oh, somebody that I used to know. Yes, that's so funny that you would say that. I just had a conversation about that song, even though that song is like, you know what, more than 10 years old now-ish. I just had a conversation with someone about that song like 2 hours ago. No kidding. Right, in older decks, he was the officiant. Yes, exactly. So this is marriage. Oh, Nick, it was the 10 of Cups. Okay, makes sense. Okay, so here's the thing with this. And again, context is everything. Marriage, yes. But also, if this is describing your relationship or the person you're in a relationship with, you might be married to a dogmatic, controlling a-hole. So this card could say, you're getting married, or, oh my gosh, your husband's a dick. Which obviously you're not necessarily going to say it that way in a reading, of course. Oh, isn't that interesting, Nick? That's so there it is. There it is. All right, so Ace of Wands. I mean, it is the preopic image. It absolutely is. In some decks more obviously than the others. Years ago, I was hired to do readings at this college bar on Halloween. Did I say it was Halloween? On Halloween. I love doing Halloween parties. I love the costumes, but it's a college bar. It's loud. I'd been there for a long time, and some super drunk guy sits down and says, oh, looks like someone with a big dick. And had I been less tired, had I been a more experienced reader, I might have handled it differently. What I did was I said, yes, you are, and made him leave the table. So, Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands. This can be, Jen, I think you handled it just fine. I always feel bad when I lose my cool and let someone make me upset. You know, like there's always a funnier way to handle it. But in that moment, I was just done. I had had enough. So yeah, this can be a card of significant sexual attraction. It can also be a card of significant anger or anger issues. It can also be the beginning of something new, and it could be the beginning of an exciting relationship, but I would wonder if the relationship were more a sexual relationship, more a collaborative relationship. Like, I don't know where it would go, but it's something. Okay. Y'all know I have a very mixed relationship with this card, and it's weird because objectively, this is the happiest card in the deck and can talk about happiness, confidence, allowing yourself to shine. This can be a relationship where we allow each other to shine and where we light each other up. It could be so beautiful. But this can also be a full-on narcissist. It's all about context, man. So you may not think about strength as a relationship card, but it absolutely is because of Oh, there you go, Julie James, Black Hole Sun. I love that song so much. All right. We've got a relationship between the woman and the lion, and it works. So this could be one of those opposites attracts relationship. Oh my gosh, Jen. This is why I do this. Like if I did not get any other pleasure or benefit from doing this, I would do it for this reason alone. I have had a copy of these images since I was 26 years old. I'm 62. Jen Schultz says something I had never thought of and will now never forget. And y'all need to remember this too, because it's brilliant. It's a baby carrying a giant red flag. Is that not the most brilliant thing? That I will be delighted by that for a week. Probably for the rest of my life will that delight me. Thank you. Thank you. That is brilliant. All right. Love it. But I mean, that's why we need to be a village, right? Because one person will never see all the things. All right. Right? Mary, we are now all going to remember the baby with the red flag. Yeah, it's so smart. What better relationship card is there in the deck? Like, there is something in my mind that says this is the relationship we all want, no matter what kind of relationship we're talking about. It's reciprocal, it's boundaried, it's compassionate, it's helpful. Why not? And then there are others who say, well, if you're carrying a scale, how generous are you? And there is this sense of power differential. But I would argue in a good long-term relationship, we've all been this person and we've all been this person. And so there is a balance there. And there is a sense of service one to another, not where one person's doing all the labor. High Priestess. So this is very specific to female identifying people. Oh, so mixture. I worry someone might be giving too much. Theoretically, that's why the scale is here. You can't give too much because the scale is balanced, and we have the scale to make sure of it, theoretically. But whatever you see in the reading is what you see in the reading. All right, so this is very specific to female identifying people. The High Priestess. When we're looking at how someone who is your partner or your potential partner, regardless of their gender, but when it comes up this way, it's very typically that I'm looking at heterosexual men who are dating heterosexual women or men in relationships with women. And we look at how they view, like this is the card that will show you how someone views women. Femme folks, that's a good way to say it. There you go. And typically, but you know, I've seen this in other ways too, so I'll play with this for a minute. Typically, if he sees her this way, or he sees women this way, he's respectful. He respects you. He will respect you. For me, the High Priestess reversed is dangerous AF. If this is how he sees you, if this is how he sees women, you may have an issue. There's disrespect there. It could be cheating. It could be abuse. It could be just general misogyny. But one way or the other, there that is. Now, but you know, speaking about the idea that relationships are relationships and people are people, regardless of gender assignments, regardless of the kind of relationship. Right, it could be a serial killer. Absolutely could be. I see this card, right, Mary? Run! Yeah, seriously. I see this card when we find misogyny that is generational and has been passed from mother to daughter, I see that there too. All right. Now, just a couple of other cards to have some fun with, and then we'll move on. The Knight of Wands. I have one friend who sees him as an F-boy. You know, that's it. This is an F-boy, nothing more, nothing less. I'm not so sure. I know he's a little goofy. I know he's a little immature. I know he's pursuing fun, but I think this could be okay for a relationship depending. What do you think? Jen is very sure it's an F-boy. Is anyone want to give the Knight of Wands a vote of confidence as someone you might want to date just to see? Oh, no, Della. This is the guy at the table who said it looked like a big peen. Oh, no. Fair enough. Okay, the Moon. This is one where it's like all contextual, all intuitive. Right, Jean, an artistic male. It could be an artistic man. It really could be. Yes, thank you. I feel validated. Right, Dina, the Knight of Wands will let you know he's into you. That's not a bad thing. We can enjoy that. So, different strokes for different folks, and we all have our own relationships with the cards. The Moon is so interesting when it comes to romance for me. Because, clearly just based on intuition or context or whatever, either it's be careful, they're hiding someone. That was, what I meant to say was something, but what came out was someone, but that could be the case too. That could be what they're hiding, another person. So something is hidden. Or it feels really spiritual, really intuitive, like it's really meant to be. Like two entirely different things, depending on context. Makes you hear lots going on under the surface. Della, makes you think of a sexy lyric. Yeah, interesting. Oh, and back to this guy. Julia says he's not lazy, he looks fun. Yeah, wild in the sack, but moody. The mystery of love. And Knight of Wands can be a good guy, just a jokester. Mary, or the guy is Cancer and you should run too. Could it be the strong silent type? I wouldn't go there, but someone might. Like, I would go there for the Hermit. And then Della's over there singing Super Freak. Yeah, it could be. This, though, there's your Super Freak. And this is such an interesting one when we talk about relationships, because it could be like, this is an abusive relationship, or the person you're with has an addiction. Like, it can be that serious. Oh, no, Dina, Moon, he only sees you after hours because he's married. Oh, my gosh. Del, I fear I must agree with Mary. Y'all are having way too much fun. So, the devil can be great sex. Right, giving BDSM vibes, for sure. The devil can be amazing sex. It can be like really like great lustful stuff. It can be a very committed relationship. Audrey, what does F-boy mean? I'm just going to say it. Everyone who's here is here. A fuckboy is basically someone who, like, that's all you're going to get out of him. He can be a booty call. You can have fun with him, but that's all he's looking for, and that's all he's going to be good for. And so the key is with an F-boy is you don't want to fall in love with that. You can have all the fun you want to with it if you're into it, but do not fall in love with the F-boy. That's the thing. That's the thing. until an F-boy comes and goes, so to speak. May come back around a few times. Not necessarily a one-night thing, but this is not the person who's picking you up at the hospital, this is not, yeah. All right, the devil. The devil sometimes can be a commitment to a worthy relationship that's going to be difficult. I'm marrying the person. This is not the Four of Wands. Yes, so true. I'm marrying the person with 5 kids because I really love them and I know that's going to be a commitment. It's not always bad. It's not always unhealthy, but you got to be darn sure you know what you're looking at here. Right, make sure it could be codependence. How could the devil be a very committed relationship? I am marrying a person who has a terminal illness. I know that our relationship will not last my lifetime. I know that I will take care of this person at the end of their life, and I'm committed to that. So something like that, where you're making the commitment where all of your friends are looking at you like, are you sure? And this card will come up to say, be very sure because it's a heavy commitment, but it's not necessarily a bad commitment. But this could also be, I'm marrying the alcoholic, where we're going to say, are you sure? Right? Divine timing, good to see you. All right, let's change gears and let's talk about, they tell you you're crazy to like that person, yeah. Oh, and the devil could be a Capricorn, right? No, that's true. All right, let's talk about whether we're reading for others professionally, casually, or reading for ourselves. Adrija, it's so good to see you. We were just talking about the Knight of Wands as an F-boy, which is something you and I have talked about. All right. Yes, exactly, Audrey. You got it. All right. So these are some of the questions that we sort of see as stereotypical, asked at the tarot table, that sometimes readers will roll their eyes at, like, oh my gosh. And I think what I want to do is look at, like, what are strategies for these questions? Hey, Jarella, good to see you. Okay. Will they call? When will they call? I try to handle that. And if you have questions about any of these specific questions or comments, let us know which one, right? Will they call? When will they call? I'll just be really straight about that and just do the reading. Like Ace of Wands, they're definitely calling, right? Soon. Four of Pentacles reversed, they probably will call, and maybe in the next 4 days, right? We'll play like that. Right, see, there it is, Adrija, right? See, that's what we're talking about. They're a big-time F-boy holding their thing on a horse, right? There it is. That was kind of the consensus. Not all of us agreed with it, but a lot of people did. Okay, what are they thinking about me or about the relationship? This is a really hard one. There are some people who really have ethical issues with this question, because if you want to know what someone is thinking, you should ask them. But a lot of times people don't communicate, and even when they do communicate, they don't communicate honestly, and they may not be honest with themselves. And so I will take this question. I just do this question, and I do it in the same way. Okay, let's pull some cards. What are they thinking about you? What does this person think about you? Honestly, this person is not thinking romantically about you. This person wonders if they can get lucky with you. This person is interested in a future with you, right? I mean, you just interpret the card in context. When will I meet someone good? So the thing you have to be careful about with this is, suppose you do see a person coming in and you describe the person and you make a prediction for a time frame, and it turns out that that person does meet someone fitting that description in that time frame, but they turn out to be terrible. Your client is very likely to hang in that relationship longer than they should because of this. We have to be very, very careful when we do the reading to let them know that someone good, is it going to be the right one or the right now one? Is it Jesus or John the Baptist? And we're not qualified to say. I think it's so important when we do these readings that we remind the individual that they have to make their own choices, and they need to use critical thinking skills to make those choices. Now, Nick, interesting, you say intuition above all. I would say for the reader, all sorts of contextual clues, including intuition. For the client, for the person we're talking about or to, I would say critical thinking above all else. Because when we're in love, in limerence, in infatuation, in heat, in lust, when we're in that space, intuition has long time ago gone out the window, because the only intuition we're feeling is that. And that's not intuition. That's biology. That's a lot of things, but it's not intuition. So in that moment, I'm going to say critical thinking. And come on, man. I mean, there are those moments. It's compelling. Hey, Belle, thanks for joining. Good to see you. Welcome to our digital village. Thanks for being here. Hi, Tina, just don't tell them their twin flame is coming. Right, Della, we're in our Knight and Ace of Wands era. Lumen, you are very right. Critical thinking skills are at an all-time low now. Okay. Will we get back together? Is he coming back? Yeah, see, Nick, you and I are very, very similar here. You started as a skeptical scientist exploring spirituality. I remain a huge skeptic. But that means when I see something real, I really think it's real, I mean, that helps. Will we get back together? I think this is one that really requires some deeper questioning if we have time. Because why are we wanting to get back together? Are we wanting to get back together because something good is there? Are we wanting to get back together because we still long for that? Do you think you're in love with that? Are you really in love with that? Half the time people say, oh, but I love him. It's not love. Or you love a projection, or you love the potential, or you love what you had in the first 6 weeks, not the way the asshole's been in the past year. So this requires a ton more questions. You don't just answer that one question most of the time. You're going to break it down to all of these things, because maybe it really is a good relationship that just hit a rocky patch. And maybe amends have been made and healing has happened and we should get back together. Or maybe it's your ex for a reason. Right. Have they or you been to therapy? Right. Exactly. So there's a lot of questions. A lot of questions. Exactly. Jen says taking your ex back is like having a garage sale and buying your own shit back, right? Belle, OMG, I love this course. Thank you for being here. I've been a professional full-time reader for 30 years. Your mileage may vary on some of this. Everyone has their own relationship with the cards, but this is what's worked for me for a long time, and thanks for being here. Nick, when I say intuition, I guess I mean use your senses, including deductive reasoning, common sense, primal brain, etc. Just don't be blind to the red flags to try to make them fit the prediction, right? Right? Cassandra, that part. Which part? Which part? Which part? Okay. Right, Della, look for the sunshine with the red flags. Okay, are they interested? I find it like that's an easy one. Is this person interested? Probably not. Is this person interested? They're getting over something, but they may be interested. Is this person interested, at least in friendship or a conversation? Is this person interested? Who the heck knows? Which is a legitimate answer. Is this person interested? Maybe, but they're shy and insecure. Is this person interested? Definitely not. Are they the one? I hid this here. This is the one question that I'm going to say we should probably never answer. We should probably never answer unless there's some very specific context, because that's not our call. That is never our call. And I will go back to my Two of Cups experience where I saw the Two of Cups for the person multiple times. Oh my gosh, Belle, I love it. Four of Swords could also be he wants to sleep with you. That's fabulous. You know, it could also be he wants you to fix them. If you think about it, that's good. That's good. Right. Right. Hey, Barbie, good to see you. So what I will say, if I really do think it's got a chance, is I will say, it's up to you. Love is a choice we make every day, but I feel good about this, and I would like to see you give this a chance. You know, I will say encouraging things, but I will not say, oh, yes, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah, no. Oh, Sarah, have you done a reading for someone who asks if they should leave the person they are with? Daily for 30 years. How do you handle it? It really depends. We look at what's going on and we look at what's likely to go on, and I will usually play it out. This is what will happen if you leave, or what's likely to happen if you leave. This is what's likely to happen if you stay. Also, these are the problems as we see them. What can be done to work on the problems? So I will ask just a series of questions. That should be an hour-long reading, ideally. A series of questions to play with that. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to say what you should or should not do. I'm going to say, this is more information to help you make this decision. Additionally, you might talk to an attorney. You might talk to a therapist, you know, those kinds of things. Do not make a decision without seeking those kinds of professional opinions as well, is how I would do that. Okay. Are they cheating? This is such a hard one. We talk about this a lot on this channel. Are they cheating? Audrey, I want to thank you so much. Thanks for being a member for 2 years. And thank you for a super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you. So, you know, we all have sort of the cards that make us suspicious of cheating. If I think there's cheating going on, I'm going to ask leading questions to see where the client goes with that. I'll say, like, could there be someone else in the mix? Is it possible there's someone else in the mix? Has infidelity been a concern? You know, I might say something like that. So, right, Belle, those are yours. Got it. Perfect. Seven of Swords is one of mine as well. Yep. Seven of Swords from Jen. Absolutely. But I will often say, you know, why do you think that? And interestingly, usually by the time they ask that question, I'm in the reading. I've already seen a lot. And I'll have, like, if they ask, are they cheating? And I've already internally had an inkling, I'll say, you know, it's interesting that you asked that, because I was wondering. If I hadn't seen anything, I'll honestly say, I have not seen any evidence of this so far. What makes you ask that? But I will say this, and I've said this to you before. A lot of times people ask about cheating, and it's usually women in heterosexual relationships, so women with men. Oh no, Della. And apparently with the Knight of Wands, I fear. Yeah, right. The women want to leave. The woman wants to leave the relationship. They're hoping he's cheating because then she can leave without guilt. And at that point, I will, we've already gathered he hasn't done the dishes in 10 years. He doesn't talk to the kids. He didn't buy you a Christmas present or a birthday present. He's verbally abusive. I mean, there's a laundry list of stuff. And I'm like, why do you need to nail him on this when you already have all of this? So that's where that can kind of go. But I really don't ever like to say, yes, for sure, someone is cheating, because what if we're wrong? We're human. We can always be wrong. We can always misinterpret. So, would they be a good match? I love that. I love that. Oh, Jen, what about the lovers? One is looking elsewhere. Sure. So the way I do good match is I'll just do 2 cards. Like, here's the problem with this relationship is both of them may have some depression, anxiety stuff. They may also have different schedules. So you're going to have a real focus on mental health, and you're going to have to find a way to line up the schedules right off the bat. There's other ways to do that too. Obviously, astrology, synastry, there's a lot of ways to do it. Would we be a good match? I would not see a good match here. Oh, Della, love this too. I'm bringing out multiple decks and comparing two like you're doing. Yeah, absolutely. Here's my favorite. What can I do to make this relationship work? And I've done this question for people, and very often I will be supplying the questions as well. They're just asking about the relationship. I'll supply all the questions. What can I do to make this relationship work? This one is great for the person who is in an admittedly terrible relationship. They've tried everything. They don't want to leave. And so I will play that really straight, and I will do it like, okay, here's what you have to do to make it work. And it will always come up like, okay, just do everything this person wants. Never complain. Pretend that you feel well when you don't feel well. Like, very specific things will come up, and the person will be like, well, I can't do that. There you are. There you are. Our job is not to help people make decisions. Our job is to give people the information. What could the Three of Wands mean in this context? What could I do to make the relationship work? Focus on what is success. What is success to you? What is success to me? What are our common goals for success? And what are we both doing to achieve those goals? That's what you would need to do. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. Oh, Julia, great point about schedule. Oh, Belle, never noticed that about the Lover's card. Between that and Jen's red flag, baby, I had to subscribe. Well, thank you. We're so glad that you did. That's something we do a lot on this channel, is really look beyond the basic book meanings. Because in a good tarot reading, it ain't about the book meanings 9 times out of 10. Right, Sarah, we're telling them what they already know through the cards, or giving them permission to see what they were afraid to see. Oh, yes, I think so. Okay, good. JJ Reason, I appreciate that. So, Belle, you would see the Three of Wands is looking elsewhere. Can you share some more about that with me? I'm not in my memory bank finding a traditional reference for that. And it doesn't need a traditional reference. However you see it is how you see it. That's how tarot works. I'm just not figuring out what the reference is. So would love to know. All right. Now, we only have 5 minutes. Here are, I should have used a bigger font. I apologize. You can always take a screenshot and blow it up. Thoughtful questions and spreads. I'm going to run through this super quick. I just want to show you some things that I have found. Hi, Diana. Good to see you. You can watch the replay, but I'm glad you're here. I'm going to show you some things that I have found that I use these on the daily. This is my toolkit all the time. Okay. Spreads that I do for couples. Okay. This is what John needs from Mary. John needs Mary to see him. John needs Mary to lift him up. John needs Mary to make him feel like a king. Of course, we're having some red flags about John in this conversation right now. Mary needs John to accept her friends. Mary needs John to share the labor. Friends, is this relationship going to work in the long run? I say no. Because she wants to be collaborative. But you can see ways it could work. Bill, that's so interesting. I don't know why. I see Three of Wands as someone with a person looking elsewhere at someone else, like FOMO. Julia says, looking for a better ship to come in for Three of Wands. Ha, Della, I fear red flag baby says, nar. Yeah, interesting. So like for me with Wands, I'm so connected to that 1, 2, 3 story with Wands. Ace of Wands, a great inspiration. 2 of Wands, figuring out the path forward. 3 of Wands, making it happen, and it's successful. 4 of Wands, celebrating the success. 5 of Wands, now we're in a fight because we're trying to figure out the next success. 6 of Wands, here it is, the next success. Sorry, I got carried away. Julia Bonasteel, Christiana, you're a gifted therapist. Thank you. Dina, narcissist. Belle, 3 of Wands, making the affair happen. Okay, I have just figured out a way to make that work in my head because it's a 3. That third person coming in, like the 3 of Swords. There you go. All right. Here's something else I do with relationships because I will not predict the outcome of a relationship. What is the best thing that could happen here? What is the worst thing that could happen here? There was a person getting married, a client of mine. I did not approve. I had not met her intended spouse, but I did not approve based on the cards, but I was being gentle and kind. I pulled cards. What is the best thing that could happen here? 3 of Swords. They got married anyway. I officiated. And about 3 years later, they were divorced. There it is. There it is. Right, Belle, third person. There it is. Okay. Now, in relationships, like so much of relationship reading is not so much the predictive stuff. It's more the how do you handle stuff? How will this person react to this conversation? What is the best way to approach this person? Now, if we're in an argument and we're not understanding, well, this is Mary's perception of what happened. This is Beth's perception of what happened. This is what Mary was trying to accomplish. This is what Beth was trying to accomplish. And so we can help each other see each other. Yeah, Della, I officiated. They asked, I did. It's not my job, man. It's not my job to keep you from walking off the cliff if you want to walk off the cliff. Okay. Here's another one, especially with someone that you've just met or you're just starting to date. What is true about this person? What is true about this person? This person may choose not to have fun or may take bad risks. This person is a really sweet communicator. This person may not be kind of grounded and may have money issues. This person may have a lot of internal conflict, right? You know, that's how we do that. Oh, Della, that was sweet of you, but the emotional whiplash, yeah. Was it sweet of me or was it not smart? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Now, suppose someone's choosing between two people. What is true about this person vis-a-vis, no, not versus. What was I thinking about that? What is true about this person vis-a-vis the other person? This comes up a lot when there's suspicion of a third party, like the cute coworker, right? So my boyfriend has a cute coworker. What is true? What is my boyfriend thinking about the cute coworker? What's going on there? But you can also do two people versus each other. Should I date Sarah or should I date Heather? Cards for each. What does this person want from me? This is really good in any kind of relationship. What red flags am I looking for? Every single person is going to have red flags. No matter what, you can be in a relationship that is 30 years old, and you will remember what the red flags were at the beginning. Red flags do not mean don't go. They mean go with caution. So what red flags am I looking for? Well, let's see. What red flags am I looking for? Someone who is more into what they're into than into you. Someone who does not yet have closure to their own past. Someone who does not know where they're going. Why am I feeling this way? I get this a lot. People are like, I objectively know this person is not good for me, and yet. That's my favorite kind of question because we can play with that. There's a million different reasons we feel what we feel. And if someone is asking, why am I feeling this way? Or if you have gotten them to a point where you can ask, okay, since you objectively know all this, why are you feeling this way? Okay, so why are you feeling this way about someone who is objectively an a-hole? Because you're in your fantasy mind. You remember when the fantasies seemed real and you want that back, right? Stuff like that. And what should I do about these feelings? Recognize that you're large and in charge and pursue things that you enjoy and the feelings will go away. Recognize the feelings are fantasies, not realities, and choose to think about something else. You should trademark this list. Yeah, can we get these lists? Maybe they'll go in the next book. But take a screenshot. You can always, you've got them. You can take a screenshot. My friends, I appreciate all of you so very much. All the wands quartz coming out. Yes, seriously. Thank you so much for being here. Of course, a special shout out to the members, the moderators. Welcome to our new member. Thank you for super chats and super stickers. I appreciate all of you. Nick, the little fish in the Page of Cups always makes me imagine he's so love-eyed that he doesn't notice and accidentally drinks the fish. No. Oh, y'all are so great. Thank you, everyone. This was so fun. This has been a delight. We appreciate you. Well, I appreciate you. Because if it weren't for you, I'd just be sitting here doing this on my own, and it would not be half as much fun. Nick, it's a cautionary tale. It is a cautionary tale. Because when you're out there as a baby tarot reader or an experienced tarot reader, you have the potential to really, really help, and you have the potential to really, really hurt. There it is. Nick, don't let love blind you. Well, if it's blinding you, it isn't love. It's limerence, it's infatuation, it's lust. If it's blinding you, it's not love. All right. My friends, I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. We'll be getting, Claire, there is an art to asking the right questions. Yeah, we'll be getting back to our normal class schedule in March. We've been deficient of classes in January and February because of StaarCon, because I can only spread myself so thin. And no matter how thin I spread myself, I'm still not thin. What's up with that? I do not know. Oh, Jean, this is good. In general, I think a respect for the autonomy and decisions of the querent. Yeah, there's got to be. There's got to be. There's got to be. That was a warning my mother gave me when I first started and told her what I was doing. She said, you know, there was a woman when I was growing up who did that, and she was good, but she got a little controlling of people. Like she wanted people to do what she said. It's like, let's not do that. Okay. Yeah, makes you half of being a good reader is knowing what questions to ask. I agree. My friends, I appreciate you so much. Have a great evening. Thank you. Take really good care.